Hello, my fellow time travelers. Where do you want to go this time? Ancient civilizations to discover why Greek ideas spread like wildfire while Egyptian knowledge stayed locked away. Splendid choice. Let's set the temporal coordinates. Wait, something's wrong. My communication device is buzzing frantically. Oh no, this is serious. I'm receiving an emergency signal from the present day. Ideas have stopped spreading properly in our modern world. Social media algorithms are broken, universities can't share research, and even simple conversations aren't connecting people anymore. The flow of knowledge itself is grinding to a halt. But why? How did this happen? The answer lies buried in ancient history, in the very foundations of how civilizations chose to share their wisdom. We need to travel back to where it all began to understand the two great approaches that shaped Western civilization itself. Quick, into the time machine. I'm setting our coordinates for ancient Egypt, around 2500 BCE. If we can discover how the Egyptians and Greeks handled knowledge differently, we might solve this modern crisis. Hold on tight. Oh dear, the temporal engines are sparking. We're crash landing near what looks like a massive temple complex. Sand everywhere, towering stone columns, and guards. Egyptian temple guards are running toward us, spears raised. They think we're foreign spies trying to steal their sacred knowledge. This is exactly the problem. In ancient Egypt, knowledge was power, and power was closely guarded. The priests controlled everything: mathematics, medicine, astronomy, all locked away in temple libraries where only the chosen few could access it. But we need to get inside those libraries to understand why. The guards are shouting in ancient Egyptian. I can barely make out their words, but they're definitely not happy about our sudden appearance. One of them is pointing at our strange clothes and the smoking time machine. We need to prove we're not here to steal their secrets, but to learn from them. Wait, I remember reading about this. Egyptian society was built on hierarchy and divine order. Knowledge flowed from the gods to the pharaoh, then to the high priests, and finally to specialized scribes. It was like a pyramid itself, with wisdom concentrated at the top and carefully rationed to those below. The lead guard is approaching. He's wearing elaborate golden jewelry and carrying a staff with hieroglyphs. This must be a high-ranking priest. I need to show respect for their customs. In Egyptian culture, knowledge was sacred, literally divine wisdom that couldn't be shared carelessly with outsiders. I bow respectfully, placing my hands together as I've seen in ancient Egyptian art. The priest's stern expression softens slightly. He introduces himself as Waset and gestures for us to follow him into the temple. Inside, the temple library is breathtaking. Thousands of papyrus scrolls line the walls, containing mathematics, medicine, and astronomy. But Waset explains the strict rules. Only initiated priests can read these sacred texts. Knowledge is too powerful to share with common people, he says. It must be carefully guarded and passed down through proper channels. Suddenly, my time machine's emergency beacon activates. The coordinates are scrambled, pulling us toward ancient Greece. Waset watches in amazement as we disappear in a swirl of temporal energy. We materialize in the bustling Athenian agora, and what a dramatic difference! Instead of guarded temples, Socrates is openly debating justice with citizens who freely join the discussion. A merchant overhears us discussing Egyptian knowledge hoarding and laughs. In Greece, he tells us, ideas belong to everyone. Philosophers travel from city to city, sharing wisdom through public debates, written dialogues, and schools. But then disaster strikes. A breathless messenger arrives with terrible news. Alexander's armies are marching toward Alexandria, where the great library stands, the one place where Egyptian and Greek knowledge traditions have merged. If it's destroyed, both approaches to sharing wisdom could be lost forever. We race to Alexandria, where we find Egyptian priests and Greek scholars arguing, instead of working together to save the precious scrolls. Using everything I've learned, I convinced them that both systems have incredible value. Egyptian careful preservation protected ancient wisdom for millennia, while Greek openness spread revolutionary ideas rapidly across the known world. Working together, they managed to save the most important texts just as Alexander's forces arrive. But Alexander, deeply impressed by their cooperation, decides to expand the library instead of destroying it. As we return to the present, my communication device finally stops buzzing. Ideas are flowing freely again. The lesson is crystal clear, my fellow time travelers. Western civilization needed both approaches, careful preservation and bold sharing, to truly flourish and reach us today.